Alright, let's get into this vegan calamari that I made using king oyster mushrooms. Look, I know sometimes seafood can have people in a chokehold, especially if you're trying to transition. So I'm like, this would be the perfect dish to create to give people an idea, or even if you're just allergic and never even tasted calamari, but you've always heard good things, this recipe is for you. Now I'm using king oyster mushrooms. They're very big and they're easy to work with. So I just started off by throwing them in some boiling water for about 10 minutes. Then make sure you strain them and pat them really dry. Next, all I'm doing is cutting them into some nice, fairly thin slices, not too thin, and of course not too thick. And I'm just going to do this with all of the mushrooms that I boiled. And the purpose of me boiling them was to make them a little bit more tender and softer. And the texture is just going to be like calamari, like literally. All right, then you're going to take a small object to cut out the calamari rings. I used a plastic bottle top. I don't even know why I used this. This actually made it a little harder to make the rings. But look, I did it though. I did it. And this is, oh my God, I did not mean to do that. Yeah, don't be like me dropping stuff. But yeah, this is the size that you want it to be. All right, and you're just gonna continue cutting all those rings, however many calamari you decide to make. Okay, and then I started using something else. I got a little pastry tip, and that actually worked much better because it's actually metal. So yeah, don't be like me using plastic stuff. Just use something like this, and this was much faster and much easier to make the little circles. All right, real easy, real simple. Next, you're gonna just put them all in a bowl, and we're gonna start to add our seasonings. All right, for my seasonings, of course, we're going to use Old Bay. If you don't got Old Bay, go get some right now. I'm adding a little bit of paprika because me, personally, I love to add paprika to everything. And I'm also adding a little bit of pink Himalayan salt. And mix this up really, really good. Make sure all of your rings are coated with the seasoning. The seasoning is definitely important in this because we working with mushrooms here. So, we got to spice it up. Now for my wet batter, I'm just adding in a little bit of just egg and a little bit of almond milk to, have that wet consistency so that way it sticks to the dry batter. And I didn't really measure this part, but I'm going to estimate about a half a cup of each, depending on how many calamari rings you are making. So go ahead, pour that in, and we're just going to mix this up really, really, really good. All right, the next thing you're going to add is crushed Nori Flakes, aka seaweed. And this is definitely going to enhance the flavor to give it a more fishy, like seafood like flavor. It's definitely needed. And at first, it took me a minute to get used to seaweed because I've never really been a fan. But honestly, it definitely does what it needs to do. So mix this up really, really well. You can also let this sit for about 5 minutes just to make sure all the flavor and everything is getting soaked in and incorporated. For our dry batter, we're literally just going to use some breadcrumbs and some flour equal parts. And I'm just doing a little bit more seasoning like Old Bay and paprika, just a little bit because we already got it on our calamari rings. Next, we're just going to toss them into our dry batter, and we're going to make sure that they're all evenly coated. Mix it up just like this. I found that this recipe was really easy. There was no need to double dip the rings back in the wet batter and back in the dry batter. This is a one-time thing. Out the wet into the dry. Mix it up really, really, really good. Make sure all the rings are coated nicely, just like this. Now, you're going to take any oil of your choice and heat it up to 350. It can be olive oil, grapeseed oil, whatever you choose. Make sure you heat it up to 350. You're going to drop your calamari rings in for about 2 to 3 minutes until they're nice and golden brown, just like that. In the meantime, in between time, we're going to make a little tartar sauce. I got some vegan mayo here, lemon juice. I added a little parsley, and I'm also using fresh chopped dill. Throw that all in a mixture, mix it up really well, and Oh, can't forget the garlic too. So yeah, mix that up really, really good. And now you got some quick tartar sauce. Amazing. Like I'm starting to put this sauce on everything. Sandwiches, like whatever I'm making a seafood replacement, shoot, even fries, I'm using that sauce. That sauce was everything. And our calamari is officially done. Look how beautiful these turned out. I swear, if you gave this to somebody who didn't even know that they were eating vegan calamari, I promise they wouldn't even be able to tell the difference because this definitely resembled the texture and taste like no other. And I swear I'm not saying that because I made it. I'm saying it because it's true. You gotta taste it. I'm telling you. You definitely have to give these a try. So if you do try this recipe, let me know what you think in the comments.